Why, hello and welcome everybody. Also, good morning. So I wanted to give you guys the day 2 update with the character. Now, I have to say I am progressing really slow this go around, as my typical normal Atlas strats don't work since we have, well, no Atlas. So I've been struggling to go up in map tier. I'll have to figure out what league mechanic I want to push to go up in map tier today, but I want to go ahead and bring you guys some tips that are going to help you kind of figure out where to put your currency with the Righteous Fire Scavenger, and how to kind of take your character from the initial character to what you're about to see here on the screen. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump in this T9 map. I don't know what this has. I think we have like Beyond, and God knows what is on this Atlas. So now one of the two main things we're going to talk about here, number one is going block based. Number two is your Ignite Proliferation. So what that means is you want your defenses to look like this, with your 75 block and your 75 spell block, paired with a shield that has recovery on block. You can see that last affix on the shield here. And then the Ignite Proliferation, in this context, is coming from my Cluster Jewel right here, and the flames. Alright, so let's go ahead and map clear, then we can talk about it after. So if you notice, after the mobs pop from the Profane Bloom, or the Obliteration, there is this like red circle. That red circle is the Ignite Prolif. So if you look here, when they pop, they leave the red circle, and then the red circle basically kills everything.
Can I not have but a moment's respite?
Also, if you've gotten to the point where you are running double Cloak of Flame, meaning you took Cloak of Flame from the first lab, and then you have ascended, then you have actually acquired a Cloak of Flame, you could probably drop your Granite Flask. I'm personally not using a Granite right now. I'm preferring the Triple Ele. And the reasoning for the Triple Elemental is with 80% physical damage taken as fire, a little bit of armor, not that I have much, but a little bit, and going block base with endurance charges, you don't really take much physical. Like, physical is not really the issue. So, an example of how the Ignite Prolif works again, right? Blight is always a great example for this. So I'm just going to throw one fire trap at this Blight. And I don't even have that much Ignite chance. I think I have like 45. Let's see. 45% chance to Ignite. So I'm going to throw one fire trap, and this whole lane should poof. Okay, so what happens there is you kill a guy. When you kill that target, right, you can trigger your Obliteration. When your Obliteration triggers, it can trigger Zerfi's Heart. When your Zerfi's Heart triggers, it creates a circle known as Ignite Proliferation, right? And you can get that ideally from a Cluster Jewel. There are alternative ways to get something similar, but it's not the same, which is called Barracks Respite, but that's usually pretty expensive early league, so I don't usually have it in there. And then the other way to get it would be crafting it on your gloves, but you need your Eldritch currency for that. So Fan the Flames Cluster is usually the easiest way to get it. And I typically will drop either Spiritual Aid, or I will drop this section when I am moving into a cluster. Now, as for going block-based, there are a few things we want to talk about. So I'm going to leave this map for a second, and then I'm going to jump back in the map to explain why going block-based is going to assist so many players. So here's like a giant pack of mobs. You see this? So when I'm inside these mobs, you can see I don't have my flasks on right now. And yeah, I take damage from time to time for sure. There's an Executioner there, so he's throwing me to 50% life, so terrible actual spot for the showcase because of Executioner. Let me find like another pack. I think these might actually be Chaos, and my Chaos is not very good, but I can still try to tank them. So what happens when you're block-based is you end up mitigating damage so much, right, especially in the early content, that you end up turning it into healing, and that's because of the recovery on block. This is why going block-based is a very big step, in my opinion, with RF Chief, or let's say RF Chieftain, with RF in general. And then you can convert to like True Block a little bit later if you want to go Fallen or something else. But just going the initial block-based makes such a big difference. So we're going to take this one, we're going to grab some of this, we're going to grab all of this juice, make them immune to cold. Let me grab one of these over here, and then we're just going to let that spawn. We'll come back and blast it. Now, my single target is pretty shit still, and the reason it's so shit is I have not went and gotten Elderhelm yet. I'm just using a Devoto's Devotion for some speed right now. Elderhelm will give us like 50% more damage for single target. That will be pretty big. we're just going to go... I'm not going to do the rituals right now. They're going to take like a few minutes because it just takes a while. I'm just going to go pop this. One of the other things to make the pops better that I could get is I could get Hex Bloom on my flammability, which might be in the POB. That will make it so the Hex Bloom will basically proliferate with the explodes because it can chain with them. Hex Bloom makes it so if a target dies with your curse, it tries to transfer to like the next air, like the next mob essentially, and it will just keep kind of ping-ponging that. Alright, so now you can see my poopy single target, and then we'll talk about what is needed to go block. For reference, my fire trap is like 1.1, or I guess 181k. 130k when it's not buffed up. I think I would usually get to like 600k to 1 mil in trade league, so we got a long way to go with fire trap. And then that's not counting the fact that we still have exposure to get, we still have scorch to get. So we still have quite a few ways to push our single target compared to RF Chieftain. Okay, let's go talk about what's needed to go block. So, on the normal POB, and if you flick it over to the block version, the normal one is just connected here. When you go block, you're going to switch that connection to here so that you can grab Glancing Blows. When you grab Glancing Blows, you want to make sure you have these 3 nodes here. So 1, 2, 3. And you want to take the Mastery for 1% chance to block spell damage per 5% chance to block attack damage. When you do this, your block chance should already be capped. So I'm using a 24 block base shield. You can get even higher, but 24 is, I think, some of the lower ones, and I'm still block capped. When I turn on Tempest Shield, I go spell block cap. Now, my shield also has a spell block roll, so to make sure you're spell block capped, you want to make sure you're leveling a Tempest Shield. Alternatively, you can get a 25 base block shield, because that would give you an extra 2% spell block on this. So that's another option, right? As for your shield, pure armor is ideal. Pure armor was expensive, so I just went with anything that I could find. So that's how you go block based. Then as for how you get the life on block, I would recommend using fossils. So I personally used, where is it? I personally used pristine life fossils, so that would be these, along with the single resonator until I got life on block. Alternative ways would be reforge life on harvest. As for the Ignite Proliferation, I simply purchased myself an item level 50 Cluster Jewel here so that I could get better notables. So I don't know the exact level for these. You could go higher, but the lower level you go, the better it is up until a certain amount, and I'll show you how we check that out really fast. So right on over here, I'm going to link us to a quick site. It's called POE1, and I'm going to click Cluster Jewels. Actually, let's go back. Let's do it from scratch. So we're just going to click Cluster Jewel, POE1, and then we're going to go ahead and... Oh, interesting. Okay, let's do... All right, let's go POE1 mods. Here's what I'm used to. So I just do POE1 mods, and then I just type in Cluster Jewel. So we click Cluster Jewel Large, which is this one here. And then we are playing Fire. So we're just going to type in Fire. Now you can see the required level for your notables. So you can see here that Prismatic Heart, which is what I recommend, is notable level 1. So you can always get that. And Widespread is pretty good too. Some of the better ones open up at 50. So you have Smoking Remains, Cremator, Burning Bright, etc. So ideally 50 would be the lowest, right? 50 would ideally be the lowest, and the highest would be 75, but you could go as high as you want. It's just whenever you're closer to the minimum, you have less mods to roll. So if you get a 50, then you can't roll the 68s, which are okay, and you can't roll the other things. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much, but TLDR, the closer to level 50 you get, the easier it will be to roll notables. And then the same logic applies with your medium, which I have right over here. This one would be at 68. So you want minimum of 68, or else you cannot roll Fan the Flames. And that's how you pretty much set that up. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and flash my gear so you guys can go ahead and see. I bought a dot multi-weapon and crafted with minion damage. This is not in the POB, but it's on my website. This is how I do budget crafting. You basically take spiritual aid, you get a dot multi-weapon or a fire damage weapon, craft with minion. Make sure if you're getting fire damage, it is a suffix. Devotos for some speed and dex. Amulet's pretty poopy. I need to get some chaos resin dot multi. You guys saw the shield. A really nice ring that we unveiled. Death's Rush, which I'm liking a lot for just faster map clear. Cloak of Flame. Gloves that we got. Mortal Flesh. And then boots that we crafted. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. Hope you guys had a wonderful time. Remember, you can catch me streaming live every day at twitch.tv/Pohx. If you got any questions, you can come out on the stream. I am getting kind of blasted with questions, but I'll do my best to help when I'm able to. Anyway, catch you guys all later, and thanks for watching.